Cool. Then, thank you everyone for coming. Let me remove the cursor from the middle of the slides. When I was thinking what to do in the Ubuntu Summit, I thought, I'm going to talk about what we do in KDE. So that's what I put on the title. It doesn't look very elegant, but it's very factual anyway. So we're going to talk today about what we do in KDE. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Aleix. I am a KDE contributor. I am the KDE president. The KDE is the organization around the KDE community. I am employed by Blue Systems, where we work on some KDE products, and I am from Barcelona, in the lovely Mediterranean coast. Now, it's been a while. It's been a while that we've talked with the Ubuntu community, especially in person, because there's been an entirely unrelated event worldwide that didn't make that a reality. Also, you haven't been doing the Ubuntu Desktop Summit for a while either, so that didn't help, although we've all met every now and then. This is one of the oldest pictures I could see of Ubuntu meeting KDE in the past. This is one of the first Ubuntu releases. It looks from like that era. It says 2009. Although I know that Ubuntu was a thing before, but I guess that we were not being all that thorough about our screenshots back then. Anywho, what is KDE today? So KDE has a very long history. Like we were saying, 2009, KDE was already 13 years old. KDE was born in 1996. Obviously, I wasn't around. Many of us weren't around, but that's how it's been. And it has changed a lot. It started as the cool desktop environment, although I'm not sure like people are happy with me saying these words anymore, because then people say them on Reddit, and it sucks. We're not treating KDE as an acronym anymore. KDE today is a community of people who do a number of things. I'm going to try to summarize that in this first part of the presentation. This is our vision statement, which is maybe a bit broad, but it also is meant to be a little bit, it's a world in which everyone has control over their digital life and enjoys freedom and privacy. Now, while this is the context, we talk about computers and their freedom and how this information is dealt. How do we do that? Well, this is 4 points that I'm going to go through as well from our mission statement. We create software products, so we're already on the software realm already, which give us control, freedom, and privacy. We provide users with excellent user experience and quality. And if it's not, it's a bug, and then we fix it. We enable users regardless of their location, background, abilities, operating system, and device, and we promote the free and open source ecosystem. Now, we're talking about free software. I know that you all are familiar with these concepts, and it's, to a great extent, what we all do. But I think that it's always necessary to bring us back to why we're doing this and what are our values. One of the bigger products that people know from KDE is Plasma, which is, the born spawn of what that cool desktop environment was back then. Actually, there's still some header files with the licensing from the first developers we had back in the days. This is what it's looking like right now. This is a screenshot I took yesterday when preparing the presentation. No, not yesterday. I prepared it weeks ago because I'm so well organized. But we can see that it's a more or less modern-looking system with its menus, its text switching. This is the software center, which is something I've been developing, and I felt it fit on that screen, because otherwise it would have been a big wallpaper, which is not all that information for you. This is, the Plasma that most of us use and know about. But ever since Plasma was born, and Plasma was born around the time of what back then was called KDE 4, we've seen it as a technology, as a means to create experiences. you can try this Plasma desktop, by the way, if you use these different distros. For those of you who are Ubuntu-minded, which I guess is the majority here. Whoa. The logo at the left is KDE Neon. KDE Neon is a project that is developed within KDE, but is based on Ubuntu LTS, and it has the greatest and newest versions of everything we do. The logo at the middle is Ubuntu, which is Ubuntu's KDE interpretation, I guess. And at the right is Ubuntu Studio, which is Ubuntu's take on multimedia software. I guess there's a talk later. You can probably learn more from them. Maybe I should go there because my explanation of what they do is a bit poor still, I guess. All of these are using KDE and Plasma software. There's many more distros that you can use, of course, and even BSDs, but you can look them up very easily anywhere.
Is Neon rebased on 2204 yet?
Yes. There's a KDE Neon presentation as well later today from Harold, who's maybe here, not here. You can go and see all of the nice things they're going to tell you. Now, one of the big problems we've had with Linux, I would say, is that it's very hard for us to tell people, use my software. Like our strategy for the longest time was, you buy a piece of hardware from somebody, you erase the operating system that it gives you because it's garbage, to be honest, and you slap this other thing on top. This has worked reasonably well, I guess, for the first 20 years of Linux, but there's things to improve. I know we're not the only ones trying to do that anyway, but this is what, for example, a project we've been doing with Slimbook, which is a hardware manufacturer that is shipping laptops with KDE Neon nowadays. I find it an interesting way of going all the way for a software project like ours. I said before, we create software, we don't create hardware. But nevertheless, if you want people to be able to use hardware, your software, you need to find ways for them to acquire it, right? This is something that has been quite interesting. Another interesting project that we've been working on, many of us in the KDE community lately, has been the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck is a console developed by Valve, who is definitely not us, but that is using, it has what they call a desktop mode nowadays that is running our software. It's a very similar product that what we would find on a laptop, but over there you can connect, obviously, a keyboard and a mouse externally, and everything more or less works. Here you can see that you can run Discord, you can run Firefox, VLC. Their app store, they do their own apps for the games. That is the Steam thing, but they also shipping it with FlatHub, which is interesting because it's something that many people are supporting nowadays, and you can just put your application, your Linux application up there, and it's going to work on all of these devices. And they've done a ton of them, so it's a big enough potential user base that you have right now. Cool. Now, like I was saying before, we are seeing Plasma as a framework more than just the desktop-y product. So this is another interpretation of this. The code sharing between Plasma Mobile and what we have on the desktop is around 99% the same. All of the compositing is the same. All of the libraries to create the shell are the same. Obviously, not the final components, because you want, a slider from the top and the bottom, and you don't want to have a taskbar anymore because that's not how you use phones anyway. But there's a lot of shared code, and we find it's very interesting to be able to adapt and to leverage the improvements, right? Like a lot of the optimizations, for example, that have been done for the Steam Deck have reverted on the PinePhone, and a lot of the optimizations that we've done for the PinePhone, which is the hardware we're seeing here, also reverted on the Steam Deck on the other hand. And both have needed optimizations because That's, I guess, what you end up doing, especially for the phone, because it's not the most powerful of hardwares. If you've looked at it, you will have seen. Another Plasma product that we have is the Plasma Big Screen, which is a Plasma experience that is designed for you to use on your TV. I guess that's not the best screenshot. It's running. It has Kate installed. It's not like you're meant to be using Kate on your TV, but you can use any Linux application on your TV. You would be able to tailor a UX that is useful just by providing the correct number of applications. Like, for example, if you can see here, the Aura browser is a web browser that was designed to be used on a TV with remote. It has support, for example, for CC, which is that a protocol that you use to communicate with the TV, right? So you can use the TV remote and communicate with it. It also has a very tight integration with Microsoft, which is this voice engine. So you can do a ton of things by talking to the device, which is kind of futuristic looking and feeling. But yeah.
Quick question. Is that like an ISO, or is that something that you install on top of like a Plasma, or?
Well, like from our perspective, like it's a bunch of Git repos, right? We slowly turn that into products that people can easily install. For example, the Neon people, they're gonna tell you we're putting together ISOs from that. But as KDE, for us, it's just a different repo and a different normal piece of software that you get to install.
I've never used it before, but I definitely use Linux on a computer connected to my TV. Like, what's the number one way of consuming this, like of getting it in the file? Is it grab a Neon ISO and then like apt install this, or?
This one, it's like we can do more of this product development kind of part. Like we could say, for example, you can go to your terminal and go sudo apt install Plasma Big Screen. This would definitely be possible. We can have also, obviously, a new image, and then you use it, right? I guess that actually what would...
Is this something that you can apt install Plasma Big Screen right now?
I don't know if you're packaging it. You as in Ubuntu, right? I don't do packages. So that's it, yeah. It's definitely technically possible to do that. Something that you would see, for example, if you did that right now, would be that you would get a ton of weird desktop applications in there, like it happened to whoever took this screenshot, because this is literally standard Linux, right? So it will go through your desktop files and list them here. But yeah, images are something that we should be doing, and actually, eventually, I would even see like hardware being shipped for that specifically as well as a way to go, because, like you say, you need a way to enter into these kind of use cases in a meaningful way. The other one is reusing the hardware you already have, of course, and having images for that does make sense.
One more try. If I've already got Neon installed, is it just like a setting to say turn on big screen mode, or?
It should be, and it might not be because it's a super new product.
Got you. Thank you.
But it should be, yes.
It's like in the bin manager, you select Plasma Big Screen instead of Plasma Less.
So how it works at the technical level is that we have this concept of look and feel themes. One is the one we have for the desktop. Another one is what we have for mobile. Another one is big screen. And you can switch between them. There is like the technical possibility of saying, for example, on a laptop, you detach it, and then you switch in from the desktop into the mobile look and feel. This is something that it's possible. This switching is not something that is entirely working flawlessly. That's why I am a bit hesitant that way. But this is where we're going. And actually, I'm going to expect this to be a thing that we will be recommending to users, maybe at Plasma 6 kind of times. Right now, we're doing Plasma 527. Plasma 6 is going to be a thing that will happen early next year if everything works as expected. If it doesn't, maybe late next year. We will see. Now, we've been talking about the desktop environment, but like I said, KDE, we're not a community that do the Plasma desktop environment, we do other things as well. The other things I would like to talk to you about right now is applications. A lot of them will be applications that you've seen, I would guess, and otherwise they're applications that you would need on any operating system, many of them, because we expect that people can use their KDE systems and Plasma systems with all of the features that a modern IT user would have. So this is our document viewer, Ocula. It has support for a ton of formats. It is very colorful, and you can read lots of things, I guess, even edit them to some extent. Dolphin, our file manager, also it can do a ton of things. Our vision, what's it called? Well, in Plasma and in many parts of KDE, what we say is simple by default, powerful when needed. The simple by default would be that it's meant to be an application here, and also this one, that they support the normal things that people would use. Here I showed you the screenshot with the terminal. The terminal you wouldn't see, for example, by default. But we try to help our users to make sure that they can reach all of the potential of their systems by integrating the different components that we have available. Obviously, we didn't implement a whole new terminal for every application that has a terminal. We do have a component, which is the one that was developed for console initially, that is embedded on a number of them when it makes sense. But every application has a terminal. Ocular doesn't have a terminal, for example, but Dolphin does, and it does make sense because there's some kind of things you would want to do with the file manager that are related to the terminal, etc. This is another very prominent product that we have that is very interesting. This is called Krita, and if you're used to drawing on a computer, you will probably already love it. If you never draw, then you won't maybe know about it. One of the interesting things about Krita that I find really notable is that they had the vision of saying, let's not make, X product once again, but let's find this use case, which was, in this case, graphical drawing folk. Let's make a tool for them. And they've been super successful, not only in the Linux area, but beyond. They have a lot of success on Windows as well as on Mac as of lately. And we're very glad of them. There's a lot of people who are learning about KDE through Krita, and I think that it's a very nice story. If you're interested in, promoting and explaining free software beyond the already convinced people, I think that it's an interesting story. Also, a business story around free software, which is quite rare that way. Another application that we have is KDE Connect. You should know it. If you haven't tried it, do so. It's a service that you use to have your different devices connect and talk to each other. So something that we find, or we found before we started KDE Connect, was that we all had a phone, we all had a laptop, we all had, a number of tablets. But sending files and having them communicating to each other wasn't all that easy, or not as easy as one would expect in the world of, the cloud. So what this does is, it designs a small network between your different devices. It sets up some trust between them, and then shares the information that you would want, to the extent that you can say, for example, if you know you're playing music on your phone, then you can control it from the desktop, right? Why wouldn't you want to do that? Because, they're all your devices. So this is what KDE Connect allows you to do. I know that on Ubuntu you have this Yes Connect thing. It uses the same protocols as we do. But it integrates with a GNOME shell. It also has an application for Android, for iOS, and it's also built for Windows and Mac. It's the same Qt version. So regardless of your operating system, you have an option to use it. And I would dearly recommend you to do so, because it's amazing. We have a number of games. They're not the most advanced games, but they're fun, and the kind of thing that you would expect to be able to use on any system. This is a solitaire one. I guess that they tried to implement the normal solitaire, and then the person who did it, well, I don't really know who it was because it happened back from much before I joined, thought, which is, I think that this is the normal one. They thought, well, I want to have 25 different more, so there's a ton of different games there. I've never tried. Well, we have K-Patience. There's a number of other games if you're interested into that. Like, none of them are big 3D games. They're all simple, but, well, that's often what you need, right? We do have applications for kids and education. Specifically, this one is Chicken Pre. This also is a case of, well, product that try to make themselves well, business model around them. It's not, it hasn't been as successful as Krita was, but I mean, Krita has been amazing, and they've been doing pretty well as well. You can find this application also on Android and on some other operating systems, which makes a lot of sense, right? You don't want to be telling your kids, you don't get to learn numbers with dice because you use your father uses Windows or whatever, right? So they all can enjoy it. I think that it's still possible here to like buy some extra packages. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but well, look it up if you're interested.
What's that called again?
Chicken Pre?
Chicken
It starts with a G. Dun, dun, dun.
And there's an S.
Anyway, we have a ton of applications. I didn't want to go through all of them, but you can. Here's the one that we have available on Snap. There is also, you can find a more comprehensive list because here you will find only those that are available on Snap, which is most of them, but not all of them. If you go to apps.kde.org, you can find really all of them. In Snap, I think that it's all of them except for PIM. I think that they had some limitations about that. But if you have questions about snapping, talk to Scarlett and Jonathan, who are around. They will tell you all of the details that you're looking for. All of that was created with Qt, and actually, well, using Qt was a big part of the reason why we could do all of that. I was talking earlier about different devices. Well, you can use these with Linux, but most of them, they're used on Windows or well, they're available for Windows, Android, Mac, and well, BSDs. BSDs I only added because I know that Adrian is around, and if I don't mention BSDs, he gets upset, so there you go. Something that we're looking more into is to be more present in the official stores in the different operating systems. So for example, for Windows, we started doing well, those weird installers that Windows users have. And for Android, we have well, our own repository for F-Droid. F-Droid is a free and open source store for apps. But it still is very much in our bubble, right? Like you need to make sure that people reach these very dark corners of the internet to find our stuff. We're trying to be more present in the official stores on the different operating systems because that's what we've seen that works. For example, that's something that has worked very well for Krita, and we expect that it will be helpful for other products as well. On the Windows Store specifically, we already have 4 or 5 applications. Android, we've gone up and down because they keep changing their rules and stuff, but well, we will see. Mac is always weird because they hate free software in many ways, so it's going to be weird. Anyway, like we said, we're a community, and you're more than welcome to join us. Good first step to join us is to use our software. If you find any kind of problem, you can fix it. You don't have to fix it. You can talk to us. You can fix it as well, or well, whatever. Something that you can look into if you're interested is this thing that well, our promo team just started, which is called the KDE 4 well, project. If you go there, you should see a list of different targets. Right now, we just have the 2 of them, which is KDE for Kids, which will show you the different educational and well, little games that we have for kids. And then KDE for creators, which is going to show you all of the stuff we have for, well, creators, being like video editors and the Krita and this kind of stuff. So yeah, this is something you can help with. Here you can see the crowd from KDE that is in this conference. If you have problems, scream at all of them, but with a smile, if you can do that. But talk to us. We are all nice people. Well, Harold, Adam, Jonathan, Scarlett, Adrian, they know either who's at fault at any problem or who's the email that you need to reach out to if there's a problem. I don't know how we're doing in time, but I think that there's some time for questions, maybe. 5 minutes. Beautiful. So, does anyone have a question?
Yeah. So as a project, you have a broad community, and I imagine everybody has an opinion on what KDE should be. How do you select the same defaults? What's the process?
Well, you need to have people who are gonna decide, right? Like there's.
Repeat the question for the recording.
So the question was.
How do you select the same defaults for the first use KDE experience?
So the question was, how do we choose defaults for the default KDE experience? We do have a team of people who care about the UX of our products, and that's how we've been while discussing things. I don't have the feeling that there's a big contention on the different topics, right? Like, we largely agree a lot on the different things. It's specified in some places, like what's the reason to be for a component. And as soon as you have explained why you have a component, then you can easily extrapolate if something should be by default in a way or another. So as such, I don't have the feeling that like it's like a whole conversation that we're having. Like, we don't have a big leader who says this is how it should be, which is something that some people expect, and it's how some projects work. But we've pulled it off with, well, by being a bit of a hippie that way. I think that it has worked very well for us, also having, for example, the visual design group, that it's something that spawned in the last decade. So it can be a problem when you only have like people who have the code base very present in their minds deciding what the defaults are, because it's tempting to well, to choose whatever is easier to implement, right? This is definitely a problem. But as soon as you have the different perspectives of different groups saying, I don't know the code, and from my perspective, this doesn't make sense, and you can have that conversation, then I think everything's fine. Well, he had a question.
Are you planning some collaboration with the Red Hat or SUSE to become a default desktop environment?
Well, first, so the question was if we're planning on collaborating with Red Hat and SUSE, which we are. We are working with both the distros and companies, and our products are based, are present on their portfolio in a way or another with the both of them. The second part of the question was to be a default environment. This is not something that has been discussed ever. With SUSE, I think that it's always not a yes or not a no. I think that they still have this weird option box to decide what the default is. And then on Red Hat, well, I don't know. You have a lot of Red Hat people that are going to tell you what the real reason of things are. This is not something they talk to me about anyway. But I have, well, very frequent meetings with KDE Fedora team. They work very well with us, and I am very happy with them. You had a question.
Yeah, still on this topic of the defaults. Have you done usability testing to define the UI and UX?
well, we haven't done formal usability testing. That doesn't mean that we don't inform ourselves with seeing how people use our software. We definitely do that. So yes, but not formally. Is that a reasonable answer? All right.
So, I know, so GNOME is very into Flatpaks, but I know snaps are prevalent as well. I was curious, what does KDE like ship their software for?
So we are doing all of them. So Flatpaks we are doing because we want to be there. Also Snap.
Yeah.
We've been part of the Snap conversation since the beginning. The fact that KDE Neon is based on Ubuntu has been... I went to sleep. Sorry. The fact that KDE Neon is based on Ubuntu has made it, I understand, much easier for our developers to put together the snaps. So we're also doing the snaps. Like you're going to see if you go to that URL I put earlier, we have 100 and something snaps to choose from. So we're there. I don't see in the near future that there's going to be one solution to, well, kill them all. But I don't think that we need that either. Like, what's important is that we break this barrier of tons of people packaging the applications. And I think that we have a couple of alternatives to do that already, and that's good enough. All right. We're probably out of time now. So